We'll go ahead and start at the mat. If you'd like, turn on your favorite yoga music. Go ahead and find yourself on your mat. We'll start in child's pose. Take a moment to clear your mind. Take a couple nice deep breaths. As you exhale, just releasing any tension you might have brought with you to your mat. Again, as you inhale and exhale, I want you to rise up this time, finding table. We're going to warm the spine now using cat and cow. As you round the back into cat, really think about drawing the navel through. And as you find cow, head looks up and the tail lifts. Noticing any tightness, any imbalances that you have in your body. Depending on when you're practicing this yoga sequence, you might be really tight and cold if it's first thing in the morning. But maybe if it's at the end of the day, you might notice your body's a little more flexible. Honor the body you're working with today, and let's lift to down dog. We'll release out, find table, and then work your cat and cow. So we'll continue with this pattern. Down dog. On your next breath, floating forward from table, rounding to cat, and then cow. As you continue through, if you need to pause, take a little break in any of these poses, go ahead. Don't worry about your speed matching mine. If at any time you need to, you can kick back to child's pose. Really notice how strong your shoulders are. Hands are imprinted into the mat, fingertips spread wide. As you lengthen back, let the knees remain soft and even the hips remain soft. Arms are pushing the floor away, drawing the sternum through towards the tops of the legs. Let your breath be your guide as you float through the three poses. Let's go ahead and hold here. We'll pedal the heels out. As you do so, just let the weight of your body sink through your heels. This should feel really good. And don't worry if your feet are tight, the back of your legs are tight, and you're not quite reaching your mat. That's fine. Lifting up on your toes, sink through your heels. And we'll move forward into plank. Your body's in a nice long straight line, and now let the knees come forward, gently lifting the head. Back to plank on your next breath and find down dog. And again. Uncurl the toes, open the sternum, shoulders melt away. Now we'll go ahead and look over the right and left shoulder. When you're done, kick back to down dog. And again, we'll come to plank. Knees find the mat. Looking up, heart center rises. Looking over each shoulder, just feeling that gentle twist through your body, and we'll close in child's pose. Now, if you need a drink of water here, go ahead and grab that. We're going to move on. So, coming to a seated position, assisted roll down. Let the knees fall into the chest, and we'll circle the knees out and around, opening up the hips. Bracing through your abdominals. Make sure you're still breathing. And we'll reverse for about 5 rotations. How big should your circle be? You just want a circle that feels good on your hips. Now let's just do one hip. Doesn't matter which side. We'll circle both directions about 5 times before we switch. Pressure through the fingertip as the knee presses into the fingertips, and to the other side. Still breathing in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Navel's anchored down, still stabilizing. All right, we'll prepare for shoulder bridge. Feet are on the mat, float the hips high. Inhale and exhale, float them to the mat. And again, inhale, exhale. As you float the hips up, imagine there's balloons around them. They rise up effortlessly. And again, weights across the shoulders and releasing back down. And again, squeezing through the hips and release down. And once more, lifting to shoulder bridge. When you're ready, we'll release down, release the knees to the chest, and just release for a moment. Go ahead and pull yourself back up. Come around, finding table. Find your hand placement. We'll go ahead and lift to down dog and step the feet forward one at a time, finding forward fold. We'll roll all the way up, restacking the spine one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, lengthen, lift, and exhale, dive forward. Half lift, strong backside. Melt forward, hands find the mat, step back to plank. We'll release down. Gently lift and lower. Push back to child's pose. From child's pose, let the hips float up, finding down dog. Looking forward, inchworm the feet in. And we'll put the hands on top of the thighs, finding chair. Forward fold. Arms sweep wide. Stand tall. And again, inhale, lengthen up. And hands come to heart center. Inhale, lengthen, and this time we'll dive forward. Half lift. Melt forward. Hands find the mat, step back to plank. Releasing to the mat, gentle cobra. Push back to child's pose. Curl the toes under, float the hips high. Inchworm the feet in. And find chair. Melt forward. Arms sweep wide, standing tall. Hands melt through heart center. Let the chin drop to the chest, opening the back of the neck. Again, inhale, lengthen up, reach. Exhale, dive front, heart center leads. Half lift. And melt forward. Step to plank. Lower to the mat. Uncurl the toes. Lift to cobra. And release. From child's pose, find down dog. Now that you know the pattern, you can start to add progressions. If you've done yoga before and you know where you'd like to be, go ahead and find those progressions. If not, just continue along with me. Arms sweep high, melt through heart center, drop the chin. And again, inhale, lengthen, lift. Exhale, float the heart center forward. Half lift and melt forward. Hands find the mat. Finding plank. Lower to the floor, uncurl the toes, gently lift and lower. And this time, let's press right to down dog. Stepping through or inchworm forward. Notice how your body feels. Honor that and meet your body there. Arms sweep wide, stand tall, and hands melt through heart center. Again, inhale, lengthen, lift. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift. Melt forward. Hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Optional low plank. Up dog or cobra. Toes curl under. Optional push-up to down dog. You'll notice I like push-ups, so I'll put more in than people usually see in yoga flows. Take them out if they're not your thing. From chair, melt forward, arms sweep wide to stand tall. Hands melt through heart center, chin drops. And again, inhale, reach growing tall. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift, melt forward, and step back to plank. Low plank, up dog or cobra. Toes curl under, push up is optional, to down dog. We'll float one leg up, and when you're ready, step forward. Chair pose. Hands can reach overhead if you'd like that progression. Forward fold, reach to standing, melt through heart center. Again, inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift. Release, step back. Low plank, up dog, down dog. Float one leg up, pinky toe pointed towards the floor. Try to square the hips as much as possible. Pressing the arms away, and when you're ready, bend the knee and step through to low lunge. Now, if you have blocks, that would be a great tool to use here. If not, then that's fine. Hands leave the floor to high lunge. Really reaching, and now reach forward, step through to forward fold, finding chair, adding the releve if you choose. Arms sweep wide to stand tall, lengthen, lift, and melt through heart center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive front. Half lift and release. Step back to plank. Low plank. Up dog. Optional push-up to down dog. We'll float the other leg up. Again, pinky toe points to the floor. Think about squaring the hips. Try to keep the pressure in your hands even. When you're ready, we'll step through to low lunge. You can always drop the back knee if you need to. We'll take one more breath and lift to high lunge. Hands can come to the hips, or they can extend overhead. Heart center's lifted, rib cage is anchored down. Arms reach forward, step through, forward fold. Find chair and melt forward. Arms sweep wide, stand tall. And again, inhale, lift, and exhale, dive forward. Half lift, either step or jump back to plank. low plank to up dog or cobra, curl the toes under, push up to down dog, and we'll float that first leg up. Step through, find low lunge, lift to high lunge, and we'll open to warrior two. The arch of my back foot is in alignment with the heel of my front foot. And now I'm just going to work that hip a bit. So bending the knee and straightening the knee. And again, bending and straightening. And when you're ready, we'll sink into the pose, draw the elbows behind, float the arms up. If the shoulders rise up too much, then you can just let the hands come back to the hips. Notice I'm gazing over my front fingers, and when I'm done, I'll just windmill forward to forward fold. Find chair. Releve is optional, fun little progression. And we'll sweep the arms overhead, lengthening, inhale, and exhale, and again, inhale, and exhale, dive front. Half lift, and melt forward, stepping back to plank, optional low plank, release the toes, and find the down dog. The other leg floats up, steps through, finding low lunge. Reach to high lunge, and warrior two. So now you can see how I look from the front. Front heel's in alignment with the back arch. Trying to square my hips. Working the hip, letting the knee bend and straighten. Rib cage is anchored down. Power up the legs. And gently gaze over the fingertips of the front arm. And reach forward, forward fold. Find chair. Releve, forward fold. Arms sweep wide, stand tall, lengthen, lift, and melt through heart center. Again, inhale, lengthen, lift. Exhale, dive forward, half lift. Melt forward, step or jump to plank. Low plank, up dog, and down dog. Float the leg up, or back to the first leg. Step through, low lunge becomes high lunge, opens to warrior two. And let's move to reverse warrior, opening the side body. Really lengthening as you're reaching, pulling the rib cage out of the hip. And float the arms forward, step through. Inhale and exhale, settle into chair, optional releve. Forward fold. Stand tall. And exhale through heart center. And again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift. And release. Step back to plank. Low plank. Up dog. Push up to down dog. And float the leg up. Step through. Low lunge becomes high lunge. Warrior two. And reverse warrior. Find your breath. Float forward. Find forward fold. Chair. Optional releve. Dive forward. Arms sweep wide and exhale. And sweep the arms wide. Inhale, dive forward. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold, stepping back to plank. Low plank and lift up dog or cobra. Optional push-up, send the hips high to down dog. We'll float the leg up and step through. Arms sweep up. Inhale, exhale, finding warrior two, reverse warrior, and extended side angle. Pushing through the blade edge of the extended leg, lengthening through the fingertips of the extended arm, and turning to find the mat. Finding chair, optional releve, let the heels float, and melt forward. Arms sweep wide, and melt through heart center. Again, inhale, exhale, dive forward. Half lift, strong back, melt forward, step back. This is our last time here. From low plank, find up dog or cobra. Push-ups optional, and we'll send those hips back to down dog. Three-legged dog to low lunge to high lunge. We'll find warrior two and turn the front hand up and lengthen back. And come forward into extended side angle. Draw the navel through, and we'll turn to the floor and step forward. Find chair, pressing the hands together, and melt forward. Arms sweep wide, stand tall, lengthen, lift, and hands melt through heart center. Go ahead and move to the back of your mat. Let's work on balance. Picking up one leg, find your balance. Now we'll just straighten the leg and step forward. Once you're there, simply hold. Now you're in warrior three. The back leg can hinge up higher or stay down. The arms can sweep back or lengthen forward, or maybe keeping them at heart center is best. Find the place where you can feel the balance, but you're not falling over. And on your next breath, we'll step back. Preparing for the other side, maybe shake the feet out. Hands come back to heart center. Lift the leg. Extend the leg. And on your next breath, step forward to find your balance. Again, hinging forward. You'll notice if you press the hands together, that'll help with balance. Also finding a focus point for your eyes. And one more breath. Hands move to heart center. Step back and release. Let's come to the floor and open the hips. We'll take a knee and step forward. Shoulders are stacked over the hips, over the knee. Next, I'm going to rock my pelvis forward, squeezing my hip, putting the front of my hip on stretch. You might want to stay here, or you can join me as I put movement to this. Make sure you're still breathing. I'm going to hinge back and then restack the hip. You can stay here, or if that feels pretty good and the hips are pretty open, you can come a little deeper. Still breathing and still being gentle. Maybe holding a little longer. Just follow the lead of your hips. And when you're ready, find yourself in low lunge. And if you can reach the floor, you might want to put both hands to the inside of the foot. You can also drop the knee and then extend it. Again, we're just working the flexibility, opening the hip. Maybe staying on your knee feels better. You can certainly do that. And now we'll all stay down. If you have blocks, this is a great place to use them. All right, I'm going to move into lizard. So heel toeing the foot out And then let the knee drop open, rising up on the blade edge of the foot. This is really deep. Be careful here. Breathing, maybe even closing your eyes. That breath as you inhale moves to the hip, and as you exhale, releasing tension that you found. To come out, gently heel toe the foot in, hinge back, and find yourself in child's pose. Just let the knees open so the rib cage can nestle in between the thighs. And when you're ready, we'll go to the other side. I should note that if this bothers your knees at all, you can go ahead and pad them up. Maybe roll your yoga mat or grab a towel. Again, make sure the hip is tucked under, so you're squeezing that glute. Front of the hip is on stretch. And when you're ready, you'll hinge back and rise back up. Gently drawing the navel through, firming the belly, and deepening when you're ready. Find your breath. Inhale and exhale, following your movement patterns. And we'll hold. Curl the back toes under and find low lunge. Just make sure that knee is stacked over the ankle. And if you'd like, join me by moving the hands to the inside of the foot. And then we'll drop the knee and straighten the leg. Again, working the hip, but be mindful if you're finding pain, back out of that range of motion. Holding the knee down and gently move to lizard. If you need blocks here, go ahead and use those for your hands. Be mindful of how this hip feels differently from the first side. Maybe you're a little more flexible, maybe you're a little more tight. And that's okay, just adjust as needed. And when you're ready, we'll gently release to find child's pose. Just enjoy this moment. Let all the work you've done melt into the hips. Inhale and exhale, and when you're ready, we'll rise up. If you have a set of yoga blocks or pillows, go ahead and grab those. We'll move into reclined bound angle. So the props that you've chosen today will be there to support your hips. So sliding either your pillows or yoga blocks under your legs. This will determine how much stretch you're getting through the hips. Be careful not to overdo it. We'll stay here for a little while. As your hips open, you might even want to reach down and readjust the props. Right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart. Once you're adjusted, closing the eyes, and just let your breath come and go easily. Let the belly rise and fall in your hand. And scan through your body and notice how you feel at this very moment in time. Let your breathing become effortless. Soften the face and the jawline. Soften the shoulders. And go ahead and remove the blocks. And let's move into Savasana. You can grab a blanket here if you'd like. This is our final resting place. Let the eyes close. Arms and legs become heavy, melting into the mat. Clearing the mind. Letting the breath become effortless. And we'll go ahead and bend the knees, placing the feet on the mat, and then roll to your right side, cradling your head in the crook of your right arm. On your next breath, pushing yourself up and just having a seat. Hands come to heart center. Namaste.